Hey everyone, it's Swanton007 here to continue my series of 2003 pay-per-view reviews. Let's get straight onto it. Unforgiven 2003 is what we're doing today. Now, I watched about the first two-thirds of this, stopped watching it just like in the middle of the Christian versus the Intercontinental Championship match. So the first couple matches, the first four matches will be a bit... five matches, the review will be a bit off at the time. They'll be really broad and just whatever I can remember of the time. But I reckon watching it from about 2 weeks ago, I still remember pretty much. I still remember quite a bit of it. Alright, so the show started off with a 2-on-3, 3-on-2 handicap elimination tables match for the World Tag Team Championship between La Resistance and Rob Conway versus the Dudley Boyz. Now, it was supposed to be a 3-on-3 elimination table match, but Brother Runt got taken out earlier a couple weeks ago, so he did not compete in this match. Made it a 3-on-2 handicap match. This was a really fun match. There was some really cool spots. Dudley's won in the end, as they always do. They've only been back together for like 6 months now, and they're already gone stale. But that's just something we've got to deal with. Dudley's won with a 3D at the end. I think there was a really cool spot where they sent one of the La Resistance people with a power bomb through a table. Similar to what they did to Brother Runt to take him out. Very awesome. So that match I gave a 2.25 stars. Then we move on to the worst match of the night in Test versus Scott Steiner. This is continuing their rivalry for Stacy Keibler. Really not that great. This was actually a terrible match. I thought this was definitely the worst of the night. Test ended up winning after Stacy got the chair and tried to hit Test with it, but got Scott Steiner. After the match, Test did a big kiss to Stacy and they went off. And Stacy was not happy about that at all. So I gave that match a 3.25 stars. Then we have probably the best match of the night, I like to think, and that is between Shawn Michaels and Randy Orton. This is Randy Orton's first match in pay-per-view since, I think, forever. Like, he may have done a tag team match, but that's about it. Or he's interrupted. It's his actual first ever singles match, which was kind of cool. Randy won with a little help from Nate. I can't remember how at all. I don't remember, but it was a good match. It was really solid. Randy Orton did his. It was really cool to see Randy Orton before he was the RKO, but in this one he's starting off his legend killer sort of thing, and he's just taking out Mick Foley, which was kind of interesting. And yeah, so overall I gave that match a 3.5 stars. And then we move on to Gail Kim and Molly Holly versus Trish Stratus and Lita. This was an interesting match. It was good for a women's match. That's why I think it's got a 2 stars. But yeah, there's nothing else really to it. Lita just come back from injury, and her first night back, she gets her mouth. Something happens to her mouth, and she starts bleeding from her mouth and stuff. Which isn't cool, but it's interesting. I believe that Trish and Lita won, and eventually go into a rivalry the next year. And I think Lita won with a moonsault, and that was good, and I gave that 2 stars. Then we move on to probably one of my favourite Kane matches of all time, is Shane McMahon versus Kane in a last man standing match. This was definitely a very high flying sort of thing. They went all around the arena, and then eventually came down to the entrance. And as everybody has probably seen this spot before, Shane McMahon jumps off of the entrance, which was amazing. It's like a 20-foot drop, very similar to the one that he did on Ken Shamrock, which Shane McMahon similarly always has the same sort of spots, mid-card sort of stuff there, mid-card sort of rivalries. But that was incredibly good. That was an incredibly good match from Kane. Getting 3 stars for Kane is amazing, and Shane McMahon barely ever wrestling, getting a 3 stars pretty good. And that spot at the end, that just gives you a whole new respect level for Shane McMahon, which is really good. And then we go up to matches I've watched recently. I gave the Shane McMahon Kane match 3 stars. Then the matches I watched today started with an Intercontinental Championship match between Chris Jericho and RVD. I felt that these 3 could have done a lot better. They could have very easily had a 4.5 star match, but it was a really slow match for these 3. You would have expected them to be really fast paced, lots of high flying spots, but there was nothing real special to it. I mean, RVD did a frog splash on top of both Christian and Chris Jericho when they were sitting on top of each other, which was really cool. But apart from that, nothing else really happened. Christian won by putting the belt on his knees, and RVD going for the frog splash and getting taken out by the championship belt. Something that really impressed me is Chris Jericho. At this stage, he's 28, I think, or something like that, and he's looking so good. He's got his 6-pack. It's the best he's ever looked in his whole career, I think. And yeah, I thought that was really good to see, and he looked really he was so ripped and he was skinny. He didn't have that big gut on him that he has now. Not that it's a gut, it's just a bit bloated. And yeah, that was really cool. When this was just after Christian got a haircut, maybe second pay-per-view match since he had a haircut, which was interesting. So overall, I gave that match 3.5 stars. Then we move on to the Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler match versus Al Snow and John Coachman. This was whoever lost this match actually lost the announcing team, and Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler lost this after Chris Jericho interrupted for some reason. I can't even remember. It's fucking stupid. But they're pretty much just a brawl. I mean, Jerry Lawler and Al Snow did some wrestling at the beginning, but apart from that, after that, it turned into a brawl. And as I said, Chris Jericho came in and interrupted, took out Jim Ross, and no one knew what happened. So Al Snow and John Coachman were the new commentary team, and at the beginning of the next match, Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler had a send-off. Yeah, don't know what's happened from there. We're about to find out in the next couple of pay-per-views, aren't we? Then we've got the fucking main event of the night, which I thought was incredibly lackluster, even though it is Goldberg Triple H for the World Heavyweight Championship. It was really slow, and Goldberg only did two big spots, and that was at the very end of the match. If Goldberg lost, his career was over. He wasn't going to wrestle in the WWE anymore, and Triple H wasn't allowed to get DQ'd or counted out or anything, or else he would have lost the title. The match ended when the ref was down, and Triple H got a sledgehammer, knocked Goldberg in the jaw. Goldberg went flat dead. Triple H gets back in the ring, waits for Goldberg to get up, and Goldberg spears him, typical sort of stuff there. Then a jackhammer, referee crawls in and counts Goldberg for the 3. There was nothing special at all here. The storyline was interesting, but it was all stuff that we'd seen before. I mean, seriously, it was a bunch of bullshit. I gave that match a 1.5 stars. Overall, the pay-per-view, I gave a 6.75 out of 10. This is probably one of the, obviously, mid-range sort of pay-per-views, but maybe up a little bit higher, as this year's pay-per-views have not been that great. I mean, earlier in the year, we had everybody knows about the WrestleMania 19. That's going to be pay-per-view of the year, automatically. But this is drawn second with 6.75, so, yeah, there's some matches here like definitely watch the same Shane McMahon Kane match and the Shawn Michaels Randy Orton match. Chris Jericho, Christian, RBD. It's up to you, really. It's nothing special. It's nothing out of the ordinary. The other two are just interesting to see. And Kane had one rare good match. Yeah, guys. So I'm a Swanton. Comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks, guys, for listening.